Hey guys, hi, welcome back. All right, so we all kind of collectively decided that we should do a part two for the bonus general message. So if you didn't watch part one, you will want to go ahead and do that. Now, if you look in the description box at the very top line, you'll see a link for part one. It's free. I don't charge for that. It's just I want you to be able to find it quickly, and also it'll also pop up the end of this video for you on the screen. But because I'm doing a part two on a bonus general message, and because I'm always doing a prize giveaway right now, I decided before we jump into this part two, let's go ahead and give away one more item. So if you would like to enter to win, this is, it's a little hard to see in this lighting, but basically it is a necklace. It's a tarot card pendant of the sun. And I just thought, because for part two, we really are seeking clarity on some things. Clarity is needed in this story. If you watch part one, you'll know why I say that. So if you want to enter to win this, just be a subscriber, hit the thumbs up button on this channel, and just write the word sun in the description box. And I will tell you guys tomorrow in the bonus general message who both winners are from part one and part two. Okay. So now I'm not going to recap a bunch for part one. I'm just going to let you know that we want to look into, it was a twin flame storyline. And I want to focus on kind of like, we're at this moment where if one of the twins does not reach out to the one I was referring to as her, even though this is not about masculine and feminine, it could be any gender. If they do not reach out to her, the universe is kind of like making this decree that this is your last shot. If you don't reach out to her this time in this lifetime, there won't be another opportunity. It's like these paths will permanently diverge from here on out. And so the big question was like, well, will they, won't they? But more importantly, what was the next thing that will happen for her life? Because we saw her in like a card that represented like she is pregnant with possibilities. That whatever may happen next in her life will be a major life shift. And so I do want to still talk about the individual for just a moment, maybe about are they actually intending on reaching out? Is there anything else to be said in that context? But before we kind of take a peek back at them, let's just look at her first. Okay, so what is this big shift that she is headed for? So this is like on the precipice, and the only thing that's going to stop her from having whatever this kind of new life is, we saw the world card in part one, is if they show back up. If they don't, then she has this huge life about to blossom for her. Okay, so interestingly enough, we have the moon for her. If you watch part one, you'll notice that came out for them in part one. So not maybe a big shock that for a twin flame storyline, we would get, the same card, or at least one duplicate card at this point. Her world, she's being gravitationally pulled toward whatever this new life is for her. So, I mean, I want to say that the energy vibe in her world will place her as a very, very, very divine feminine. I feel as if she will have multiple, possibly multiple opportunities that come into her life, because she will be a complete magnet for multiple wonderful opportunities. So I don't feel like this is just talking about, oh, she's going to have an option to have another great love in her life. I think that she's going to be bringing in an entire sequence of events into her world. Now, again, the only thing that can stop whatever's going to blossom in her world is if that other person actually comes in and chooses to be a part of her life. If they don't, then I think this is just the story that we're going to tell basically without them, with or without them. Great song. Is that you too? So let's go ahead and begin. We have a Page of Cups in the reverse. We already kind of saw she wouldn't be needing their apology or needing any kind of interaction from them if they can't step up to the plate or choose to hang back. With this in the reverse, she wouldn't be accepting anything small. This is this storyline only applies if she moves forward without them. There won't be anything insignificant in her life. She has major things coming into her world. And when I say major things, I'm talking like a page is our youngest and most immature energy in the deck. Wow. 8 of Swords. This 8 of Swords has more to do with, you notice how we're outside of this gateway looking in to this beautiful land where we have a castle, we have blooming flowers. It's not that she'll be trapped in, it's that everything else that doesn't belong in her kingdom will be permanently closed out, which we already saw that. This is kind of just like a recap, really, of like she's going to be so busy doing other things. I don't even think her mind will drift to them. What I want to say is it's almost like this would be a mind wipe. She'll even forget this person, which could be hard to comprehend because all this time there's been this, huge, powerful dynamic between these twin flames. But I think if that twin flame does not come toward her, it will be like she gets a, I want to say like I'm wiping the Windex or something off of a mirror here. And that's really what they are, right? The twin flames are supposed to be like the mirror of one another. But it's like she's going to clean that mirror off. And when she looks in the mirror, she's only going to see her. She's not going to see the reflection of them anymore. I think she's going to forget them. And I think this is maybe going to be blissful. With that 8 of Cups, she's going to have the power of a lioness to start her life over. She's also going to feel very refreshed, very young. Look at how youthful. I mean, what a beautiful, I know this is like a little kiddo that we're seeing, but I feel like even somebody's skin is going to be more youthful. Frown lines, worry lines are going to be lifted. She's going to be, she or he, I'm just going to keep saying she because it's easier for us to track the character storyline that we're referencing from part 1. She is already going to be aware that she feels lighter. She feels younger. And on her wrist, I don't know how clearly you can see this. It's almost imperceptible. There is a diamond on her wrist that is shining, that is glowing outward. That's where a watch would be. I feel as if it's time for her to shine like a diamond. It's time for her to reclaim any, if this person feels like they lost years to this relationship that they waited for their twin flame to come in, their twin flame hurt them by rejecting them. I feel like she is reclaiming her youth. She's reclaiming years, and she's reclaiming, because it's time for her to shine like a diamond. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting for her. This is so exciting. We have justice in the reverse. In part 1, we had a message. Wait, did we? It might be, sorry, I think it was a Leo reading that I was just about to reference. This is Libra, but I think it was in a Leo reading that I referenced how, it's not anyone's duty to go and seek, karmic justice. It's the universe will attend to all that. And especially to have this card in the reverse, things will go in her favor without her having to lift a finger. All she has to do is it's weird because this storyline from part 1, it was all about this person they know that they're standing at a precipice of, do I go toward her or do I not? I don't know if they realize that they'll never get another shot with her if they don't. That's the question we're going to ask for them in a minute. But in this right now, if they don't come toward her, we can see the direction her life is going. And the universe is going to give her back everything that she lost to them. Now I've got that awesome song by LP, All the Things I Lost on You. I think it's just called Lost on You. I feel like everything that she was sat on the shelf, she didn't have love come in for her. She was not given what she should have. All of that is going to be like rained down upon her in like heaps of, if she felt sad, she's going to feel extra happy. If she had, lost nights where she sat there wondering if they were going to call, she's going to be like bombarded with a full schedule of all kinds of awesome, things to go out and do and explore. If she felt like this aged her, made her feel haggard, she's going to look more youthful. She's going to know it. People are going to notice. People are going to say, my God, you look like you got a facelift. You look like you're 15 years younger. What happened? And it's like, well, that was 15 years of me waiting on somebody that didn't step up to the plate. That was the twin flame energy that was like draining my battery. And now she's like being recharged because she's cut that energy drain. Now, because this 5 of discs come out right after the Justice card, strong Libra influence here. It's our first and only major arcana so far also. But because that comes out in the reverse, and the very next card is a negative card in the context of everything that she receives, every hurt that she was dealt is going to be replenished to her. The other side of karma, because karma is like, especially with the Libra card, we're talking about scales, right? The scales are going to tilt in her favor, where she's going to get abundance after abundance in, looks, in life, in happiness, and all those things. That's because it's going to be siphoned off of their side of the scales. They're going to start to feel, look at the long growth. They're going to feel like time is dragging on. Time passes, and all they keep feeling is here in their heart. They know They know that she's out there and they are not allowed to approach her. It's going to be them filled with memories of her. She gets the mind wipe. She gets to forget all about them. And if you look closely, you notice with this 8 of swords card here, this time where she's inside living her best life and they are gated outside, kind of trapped in their mind. That is suspiciously similar. I don't know how clearly you can see this, but what they carry in their heart is always that memory that I'm on the outside of that gate. I can't go into her kingdom. And no matter how much time passes, they're never going to forget her. I know this is laying it on thick, but I don't pick the imagery and I don't pick the cards. It's whatever pops out. That is the balancing of the scales. Now, why is that important? Because I just said, what kind of a life does she get? And I think it's important because I think she might have lost an awful lot to this connection. I think she might have had an awful lot of hurt. In part 1, we noticed that it was her twin flame was aware that they had caused her grief. And they were also aware that they could fix that. But if they chose not to, then they were forever going to be disallowed from coming toward her again in any lifetime hereafter. This is a very fanciful story, by the way. That's how it was in part 1. We were talking about like, past lives and things like that. And so we're going to keep with that. I just referenced that in this part. I feel like this is, it's almost like for all the things that she was hurt over, they were significant. This was not an insignificant thing for her to be mistreated by someone who was her match, her mate, who should have had her best interest at heart and their own best interest at heart. It's an interesting thing that she'll get to be free of this, and all of the burden that she once felt will be transferred squarely on their shoulders. And it will be something that is embedded in them. There will always be a kind of a loneliness. And I don't like the idea that somebody would walk around feeling like, oh my God, I messed it up and now I'm never allowed to go toward that person again, even though I love them so much. But I feel like, look, I always think that there can be redemption, but at the same time, it would be down the road. Let's put it that way. If they ever are able to go back toward it, look at all of these, look at how long that hair grows. It's like, man, they're not going to be allowed to come toward her for like, maybe until the next like galaxy expansion. I don't know. We have the Lovers. We have the 2 of discs in the reverse, and we have the 10 of discs in the reverse. She'll definitely be replacing this person. Definitely with someone who is completely confident, and it will be, again, this is how she forgets all about this other lover. They are left with their task will be to carry all the memories of this relationship. All of those memories will be placed on their heart. Those will be their scars that they carry, the scars that they created by not moving toward the person that they loved, and those will be their scars to carry. So she's alleviated with all the, if you talk about it like in the context of like Akashic records, like the record of life, the record of what someone's life has been, they have to carry that entire record, not her. And that's why she's alleviated. And that's why she's able to move into a genuine connection with somebody else, somebody super loving, somebody who gives her everything that the other person did not. It would be, could be a Gemini, doesn't have to be, but someone who is like, they could be a very old soul. This could be someone that I'm going to say is, it's going to sound so mean, but because they're an old soul, there's someone who could be extremely skilled in so many ways. They could be like the greatest communicator. They could be the greatest lover because they've been around a long time. And I don't mean just in this lifetime, but an old soul. There's somebody who has learned like incredible lessons, and it will be as if they somehow, you notice how you can see that he's cherishing her. It will be as if this new person that she ends up with will love her beyond reason. It will be almost like the gift of the divine that they send a very particular old soul to her that is so skilled in the ways of wisdom and knowledge and intuition and love and the art of love, all those things rolled into one. It will almost be like too good to be true. Well, it kind of is, because this person is being sent into her world to balance out the karmic scales. So again, that huge sense of loss, the huge sense of emptiness, all the things that she was wounded by, those are going to be filled up by this divine light that happens to come on the vessel of this individual who could be a very old soul. It, again, kind of designed to make her forget the times that she was wounded by that twin flame, because it's almost like she was mistreated in a divine scenario. And so the I don't want to say punishment, but more like the balance. In order to balance this, it means that something really divine has to come and replace it, and it has to be even greater than what the situation already was that she was supposed to be a part of, because she got wounded by something that was intentional to have been a divine connection. So she basically like gets the upgraded version, divine connection 5.0, you know. And no wonder that contributes again to the mind wipe. There's not even a thought in her mind. She doesn't even make a comparison between the person that once upon a time, because if she had to bear the burden of missing this twin flame her whole life, she may never fully be able to live a satisfying connection if she was always still saying, but my soul still hurts for that twin that I didn't get to be with in this lifetime. I don't know why they never took action. This is like, no, darling, that you can't walk around and feel like you missed out on something, even though maybe in this storyline, technically she kind of did. The divine is like, look, there's more than one ray of sunlight that can touch your life. But if you were left out in the cold because someone hoarded their sunlight and wouldn't let you stand in it, the divine kind of says, I'm going to make sure you get a little extra warmth. I'm going to make sure that you get a few more extra hours of warmth. It's that equivalent is how I want to say this. She's not even going to think about the days when she was cold. There's no comparison. She's not even going to say, wow, well, I did really love that other person, but this person treats me well. No, this person's going to knock her socks off. This person is like, there couldn't be anything better. She's not even going to remember that she was wishing for a twin flame once upon a time, because this person is everything times 10. So no comparisons, no sorrows, no nothing. So, I gotta say, I mean, this is a little bit of, this is pretty heavy on describing the karmic, like, balance here. If someone trashes a divine connection instead of tends to it, takes care of it, and especially when they knowingly hurt their partner and didn't make it right, that's where they accrue. Because it's, if people don't know that they make mistakes, that's different. But if somebody knows that they made a mistake and they still just won't step up and fix it, it's like, well, she doesn't have to lift a finger. They're going to be left with the memories of that, and they are the ones who have to tote that around. And in the meantime, her world brightens and brightens and brightens. So her world looks freaking amazing. But let's take a look, because I do want to ask that question. Do they understand? Is her twin, do they have any comprehension of, like, kind of where they're at? Like, if they don't take any action at all, do they understand what that could yield? We have a King of Pentacles. This would be a grounded vibe here. This would be someone who, we have the Fool in the reverse. No, I don't know that it really fully impacts them. I think that they just say, if I choose not to move toward her, I don't take that leap of faith forward, I'll still have, like, my feet on solid ground, and it's like they keep thinking in their mind, if I choose not to move toward her, I'm sure that, I'll still have, like, a very stable, very smooth life, and I won't have any upheaval, and, I'll have a lot of success. They are able to identify and picture, like, I would be successful, and that would be, acceptable and everything. Wow, this is not good. They think that they'll be able to let this go. That's the lie, because we got the Four of Pentacles here in the reverse. They think that I would be okay if I don't move toward her. I'll still have this really stable life. I'll have a lot of success. And again, all along, there was this thought that maybe they wanted, if you watch part 1, if they decide to go down that road of, like, I just want to go with that Six of Swords that we saw from part 1, and I just want to go ahead and, be really stable in life and not have too deep an emotional connection. If they chose that, they're, In their mind, they think that that would be okay. If they chose to not reach out to her, they would still have the sense of stability and they could probably let this go. And that's a lie. With this, ooh, that's a big old lie. They will hover and hover and hover around her. Not only that, they might end up almost scrounging. So that really calm life that they're thinking they're going to have. This person, the reason I use the word scrounging is because you notice how there's this tent of circus has come to town. And a circus is really fun, right? That's all the people are there. It's a good time. This person doesn't get to participate in it, though. They're out here thinking that they're being sly. They're stealing swords. They're on the outskirts. But you know who the person is who's missing out? Them. They're not in there participating with all these other people, seeing fantastic animals, watching artists at their finest, being around humanity and having like warmth of people around them. Instead, this person is out here on the outskirts, kind of thinking they're like, haha, but see, aren't I crafty? They're also alone out in this frozen tundra. The warmth is in here. This, if they think that they're going to be able to have this calm life where there's no upsets, there's no strong emotions, and they can just live a placid life, and they'll get over this somehow and it won't bother them anymore. That's not true. This photo shows loneliness here, even though it may take some time for this person to have it sink in, because there's never going to be a person who replaces her. And you know what? You can't hug gold at night and stay warm. I don't think that they fully comprehend what they're about to lose. But again, it's their prerogative, right? This is a storyline about the choices that our characters make impact their lives. We got this Knight of Pentacles here. The saddest part about this is that I think in their mind, they might say, well, I'll just slowly make my way back to her at some point on down the road. That's the other half of that lie. Because the universe in part 1 said, no, you will not. You will never be permitted to approach her. Queen of Wands, Four of Swords. And that's right. She won't even remember your name. You will always remember her. She will be like the that drink of water that you need to for a parched throat, and you'll never be able to drink that water. You'll never get that glass. A Queen of Wands is the most alluring, the most enticing. She'll grow in their memory instead to being the most attractive person that they've ever known. She will be the one that no one holds a candle to. Sometimes memories of people become more grand, especially when they're out of our lives and unattainable. And then it's like, oh my God, I've never known anyone more beautiful. If they watch her, if they look at her, if they try to approach her, they will not get conversation out of her. This is total silence. But not only that, if they have any way to look at her, she will be more alluring to them. And this could be masculine just as easily, right? We have a queen, so I'm talking about as a her, but it could be same-sex couple, this could be reversed. She will be the person where no one else but her will they even be able to have that passion for. Attractiveness, sensuality, all that stuff. She's it. So they're not going to be able to go and replace her. They're not going to have an interest in others. I kind of feel like this is a tough story for them, because it's like she's going to be not only the one that got away, but the one who is still there, almost within grasp, and their hands can never, it's like grabbing onto a ghost, because she doesn't even remember their name. They are forever blocked out of her life. She will not even have conversation. She will not entertain them. So that makes it 10 times harder. That's like looking at the well that holds all the water and you're thirsty, but you cannot have a drink. That's tough. That's a really tough thing. But they're thinking if they don't go toward her now, somehow they still think that later on they could. They don't know yet that that's not going to be the way of this. Is there anything? Let's just go ahead and ask. Finally, once and for all, what might happen with these two? She's going to be good no matter what. They kind of seem like they've got a pretty tough storyline here. Gosh, my hand won't settle on a deck. This one? Okay. see. Anything between these two? What might be the outcome between these two? We have a magician. Okay. I mean, there is strong manifestation. Absolutely there is. But there is also a Two of Wands. And that Two of Wands, hang on, I'll pick it back up in just a second. Let me see what our next card is. Three of Swords. I was going to say that Two of Wands, it's not really like a fork in the road per se. It's like, well, I guess it is, because we do see the two. I was looking at first just the gates. How do you walk through the gate or don't you? But really, once you walk through the gate, it does say, do you go right or do you go left? I kind of feel like, again, what we said in part one is they're at this threshold moment because she's done waiting on them. They were thinking that, well, I know that I should decide on what I'm going to do. But it was like they kept thinking it was all about their choice. They didn't realize in part one that it was actually because she's done waiting on them. So that we are at a threshold moment. Something does need to be decided upon. But it's almost as if she's the one who's saying, it breaks my heart, but I have to walk away from you now. She's been manifesting, creating another doorway for herself. It's actually her who's been at this crossroads of, I know that I need to let you go. I have to let you go because you never will come toward me. And I have to forget about you now. And I think it is hard for her to do. You see the heartbreak. She has not wanted to have to make this choice, but she's the one who manifested it. She said, this is no good for me. I can't sit here anymore and wait for someone who's not stepping forward. I could spend a lifetime waiting for you and you won't step forward. And it breaks my heart that I had to manifest a gateway for myself. And I'm standing here just giving you one last moment to say, do you want to come forward or not? Do you want to come forward or not? Because this is our last moment for this. It's interesting because this is a heavy moment for her. The goodbye moment. Seven of Swords in the reverse. So much time has already been wasted. You see my puppy ate this card. The time for any kind of lie is over. The time for any more pretense, over. She will not tolerate any of it, not from herself. She won't give, this isn't a bluff. She's really done with this. And they can't bluff. If they were to come in, it has to be like they open up their heart, their soul, body, and mind to her, or it's a no-go. There can't be any bluffs, any hoping to wait for a little extra time. Even though it would be like, yeah, this is stressful, but she knows that this is time for her to be super real with herself and say, it breaks my heart, but I also know that I must go down a different road now. If they don't show up, I have to leave them behind. We've got a Five of Swords in the reverse, a Nine of Coins in the upright, the Hierophant, and the Seven of Wands. I have to say, at this point in time, to me, this really does look like she knows that this is stressful for her to do, but she's also like leaning right into it and saying, if they haven't shown up yet, then let me count up who I really am. I am an abundant person. I have been surviving this long without them in my life. Everything I've achieved without their assistance. Every sense of stability I created on my own. And so what am I doing holding space for someone who isn't showing up? And I just feel like it's a hard thing for her to rip off that Band-Aid and just admit, I've had to make myself who I am today with no help, not even the expression of care that came from them. I'm sorry, this is a really tough message. Please click off if this is upsetting anybody. These are always fictional stories, but I will say this is a moment that I've been through a moment like this, I can tell you that point blank, where someone who doesn't show up, you finally go, okay, hold on. I've been waiting, thinking that they were going to at some point because there was something there. And I know there was something real there. But in reality, what have they contributed? Everything, if I'm really raw and honest, everything that I have done thus far has been me doing it, and I'm successful, and I am in a really good place. And so did they add that much value to my life when I'm almost at a 10 of Pentacles all by myself? No. So the absence of them gets a little easier to contemplate, like saying, now I realize I'm letting them go and I'll never look back at them again because I've already come this far, and I really wasn't giving myself enough credit for just where I'm at and how far I've come. But now I am. And I'm about to make a big old commitment that I will follow what my higher self has been standing there, shining this bright light, asking me to do. Like, be committed to yourself, your success, no longer holding open a door, no longer denying yourself the 10 of Pentacles because you kept hoping they'd come rushing in finally and bring in one Pentacle to make the 10. It's almost like she was like, look, I would accept almost anything from them if they would just come in and offer something, but they haven't. So it's time that I go ahead and I make that formal commitment to listening to my higher self. And my higher self has been very patient with me. They have let me linger here, accumulating my pentacles, getting to the full on 9, and then being patient enough with me for me to decide I shouldn't hold back any more of my happiness and success, waiting for someone who hasn't even been a part of my happiness or success thus far. So I commit now to my higher self. I will focus on a new beginning in my life, and I will only welcome in the things that will really add value. And at that point, I think this is her overcoming any blockages that she had. That 7 of Wands is time for change. This is like, I'm finally I'm aware that I had really allowed a lot of burdens to cloud my decision on this. But I'm finally ready to really push this away, throw away those old whatever, the old love letters, delete the old texts, genuinely no longer think about that person, no longer Knight of Coins. I'm really ready to move on. The Bear is all about healing. I'm genuinely ready to go out with somebody else. I am absolutely, and I do feel like she goes from, I release this finally. I must release this, and I know it. And now I must go ahead and I must genuinely be willing to get to know another person. She already has somebody that she'd like to get to know. This person has been possibly waiting for quite a while, or they basically were always on the periphery for whenever her higher self was going to be ready for this. Oh my God, really? We just got the 2 of Cups again. I don't know how to take this. Hold on. So sorry about this, but I'm like, well, that was no. Okay. I was going to say that was a left turn, but it wasn't, because we actually have an Ace of Pentacles in the reverse on this. So there is that final, this is like her glancing over her shoulder one last time to say, man, I loved you. I loved you so much. But I also know that that's not something that you ever decided to reciprocate in anything more than energy. The energy from a distance, holding your hand, that when your hand isn't there for the warmth to actually hold mine in reality, that's all it ever was. It was the impression that you were connected to me, but you never made it real in the 3D. And that's why I can't think that we're going to have a new beginning anymore. This is a tough one for her because she's being so real about it. This is a real letting go in this storyline. This is probably the most potent. We've had a few others in the last couple of years that have been really significant. Wow, that this is a done deal. But this storyline is something a little bit more. Well, it's more detailed, is what I would say. And I think that it's a great story. I mean, maybe we could say it's a sad story, but I don't see it as sad at all. At all. I actually see this. I feel worse for the person who just wouldn't step up than I do for I don't feel bad for her at all. She's had to do a tough thing, but she did the thing that requires a lot of courage. And so I actually feel just wow, that's an amazing character that we've just described. Is there any final message? That's where this storyline has been leaning all this time. And it looks like that is her decision now. That's what she's going to do. The only thing that could change the outcome on this is if they, in the 11th hour, that final moment before the clock strikes midnight, if they came rushing in and actually laid their heart down. And we have an 8 of Swords and we have a 10 of Coins, and the 10 of Coins is in the reverse. It appears for this storyline like, despite the fact that here's this person's guide coming in to say, psst, you really need to go. You really need to go. This person is drifting up here on the cloud. And maybe intentionally, like, I feel like this is cotton balls in their ears. They're like, no, I don't want to hear. No, I don't think so. But you know what? Maybe this is the divine saying, if something inside of them was not ready to contribute, to be a part of this incredible 10 of Pentacles, then if they really want to just float around and kind of just be in a place where it's real calm and peaceful, where they don't really engage their emotions too much, then that's okay. They are allowed to do that. Maybe that is good for them right now. Maybe there's a reason that they really need that in their life instead of a connection. And the Messenger of Swords, they're not making any rushes to come forward. Not in this. In this, they've decided for themselves. Maybe they've still just thought they have time. There's no hurry. But that was not true for her. She made a decision for herself. Is there a final takeaway message for this? And I'm saying like a final takeaway message because this has been a heavy little reading. But what was the purpose? What should I take away from this entire 2-part, huge, lengthy storyline? 7 of Cups, that you know what? Life is full of options and opportunities. We don't just get to, decide one thing in life. We will be at crossroads many times. And there are many wonderful, wonderful opportunities in life, many wonderful people that we could connect with. There's not just one great love, or like, if I don't get this person, then I'll never be happy again. I know it laid on pretty thick with this person who doesn't actually come forward with her. The fact that if they don't do that, they will always be the ones left with that burden of the memory of the action they didn't take, and that they won't be able to replace her. And that part is true, because there's only one of every person on this earth. Does that mean that they could never be happy again with anybody else? No, but the happiness that they might find with someone else will not be the relationship that they would have had with her. And the happiness that she will have with this other individual that we saw coming in for her will not be the connection that she could have had with them. However, in what we saw for her, it'll be 10 times better than the relationship she would have been entitled to with that twin flame person. So the big message in this is that there's never just one thing in life that we can be happy with. It's not like, oh, if I don't meet up with that one person, then I'll never be happy again. Oh gosh, no. 7 is a divine number. Life is all about change. What we want changes. Who we are changes. Over time, we see the world through different eyes. We will have many opportunities at great happiness and many opportunities to be with an amazing love. But each of those paths that we might walk down will be different. It's just like, if you move to a different house, you don't say, oh my gosh, I'll never live in a house that I like again because I liked that one I had lived in. No, of course not. There's a billion other wonderful houses out there. But will it be the house that you already lived in? No, because there is only one geographical location on Earth where that original house could be. And so the way the light comes in that room will never be duplicated. So it just really says this is not, for as heavy as this sounds, it's not, and yet it kind of is, right? Because it gives us the warning that when we meet someone who is, every person that we meet is a one of a kind. So treat everybody like they're one in a billion. Every time we meet somebody, know that we'll never meet another them. So if they are important, treat it like I'll never meet someone like you again, because you won't. Now, that doesn't mean I'll never be happy again. It just means I will never, ever, ever have an opportunity to meet you again or to be with you in this moment, because this moment will pass and then it will be lost and all I will have is the memory. I think that this is a great message, because if anything, I would say, man, hold on to the people that you go, this is special. and I know it, and I'm going to make sure that I cling to the thing that I know I'll never find again. Doesn't mean I'll never be happy again, but I'll never be with you again unless I hold on to you. I would say, to summarize, carpe diem. Grab a hold of that day and make it like, this is sacred, this is special, because every day and every moment is that sacred and special. Okay, there. That was a lengthy one. A lot of strong messages, a lot of fun messages, a lot of like thought-provoking messages in that, for me anyway. I don't know. That's how I tell stories, is I look for like, what's my big takeaway? What am I supposed to, what's a new idea that I can take away from this? As I always say, guys, these are just stories. I am not a psychic. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't tell anybody how their life is going to go or what anybody needs to do. I'm not a life coach. I'm nothing other than a storyteller. I hope that you guys always enjoy the art for that. And I hope it also, being reminded of that, it empowers everybody, because it's like, you are reminded that your life story will not go this route. It'll go the route you decide it will. And I hope that that's always fun. And it allows us to take ourselves out of a story and know, well, that's not destined to happen for me. Not at all. My situation is, this and this and this. These are all these different points for me. So, it's a whole different spin. So please just be reminded of that, because as a storyteller, it's really important to me that my art is, that I frame it in the right context. Okay. Thank you again for being here. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing. Lots of love. Bye.